Good morning, moms. If you're new to my channel, my name is Sierra and I'm on a mission to show and tell how I manage my home with peace and purpose as a homeschooling mother of 5 young children. Welcome to Mom and Tell. In today's video, I'm going to mom and tell about one of our family's favorite meals that I make. My kids call it butter chicken because the star of the show is chicken breast slathered in butter, but it's not the butter chicken of Indian fame. I had planned to make this as a weeknight dinner, but plans got moved around this week, so I'm just now getting around to making it a few nights later. And instead of serving it for dinner, I'm preparing this after my kids have gone to bed as a straight to the fridge leftovers meal for my husband to take to work for his lunches. I typically make this for dinner once a week. My family loves eating it and I love making it because it's so simple. I just drizzle a glass baking dish with olive oil, lay about 4 breasts in it, coat each side with a simple homemade rub that I always have on hand, and then top each breast with a generous slab of Kerrygold butter. I pop it in the oven at 400 degrees for about 35 minutes and that's it. Tonight I'm also making 2 sides to go with it, sauteed broccoli on the stovetop and mashed sweet potatoes in the Instant Pot. Whenever I'm making a meal with many sides, or if I'm doing my meal prep Mondays where I'm cooking multiple meals in one go, I always try to select meals or sides that use different appliances so I can have everything cooking at pretty much the same time. I start with what has the longest cooking time or can be left to cook on its own without needing to be babysat, and then I move on to the quicker but more involved sides. In this case, I'm getting the chicken in the oven first, then starting the sweet potatoes in the Instant Pot, and while those 2 cook, I'm finishing up at the stovetop with the broccoli. This sweet potato side is also a favorite of my family and also really quick and simple to make. It can also be made hours ahead of any meal and left on warm until we're ready to eat. I just peel and chop a small bag of sweet potatoes and toss in some vanilla extract, brown sugar, though we actually use a sugar substitute called Swerve, cinnamon, nutmeg, a bit of salt and butter, and some water, and then pop the lid on and cook for 4 minutes. When it's finished cooking, I add 1/3 cup of heavy whipping cream and some arrowroot starch to thicken it up while I mash and blend it with a hand mixer. I also love making this for holiday gatherings since it has such a fall and winter flavor profile, and it's always a big hit wherever I take it. Last up is the broccoli. This is also a really quick and simple side. I just warm up a couple tablespoons of butter over medium-low heat, then toss and coat the broccoli in it. Next, I add a bit of water and a lid to steam and soften it up a bit. Lastly, I remove the lid and saute it until there's a nice Maillard reaction and the edges get a bit crispy and brown. If I'm feeling fancy, I'll sprinkle on a little salt. With dishes done, I'm just going to brown up this broccoli a bit and then the chicken will be ready to take out. I let it rest for a few minutes before carving it up to keep those juices preserved. I always make sure also to test the internal temp with this quick read thermometer because bake time can vary depending on the number and thickness of the breasts. And thankfully, these are just right. So while those are resting on the oven, I'm going to finish up the sweet potatoes by mixing in the cream and the starch. And last but not least, it's time to pack all of this delicious food up. I know my husband is going to love having these meals to grab and take to work, and I'll also set aside a couple containers of just chicken and just sweet potatoes for the kids' meals throughout the week. We also love using the chicken as a quick protein option when throwing together a salad. I label the container lids with the date that I made the food and also either the name of the person who it's intended for or the contents. I make all of my meals separately and store them in these glass containers too, so at any given time there could be 20 plus containers in our fridge like this, and it's important to keep everything labeled. When it's time to relabel, I just scribble over the old label with a dry erase marker and then it wipes right off. Thanks for watching to the end. If you're still here, please like and subscribe, and I'll try my best to bring you more content like this. But before we say goodbye, I'll leave you with a quote from a great book I'm currently reading by author Carrie Gress titled The End of Woman: How Smashing the Patriarchy Has Destroyed Us. The home isn't meant to be a hotel where people see each other at night, but an authentic place of memory building, nurturing, listening, dancing, toasting, praying, resting, and serving. Home is meant to be a place where the family does the work of being a family, forming the immature to go out into the world whole and intact. How did your home life play a role in forming you? Was it more like a hotel or like the ideal model of a home that Gress describes? Mom and tell me about it in the comments. Goodbye for now, and see you next time.